Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I forgot to change the date. It's the 9th. We are studying the 90, the universal beautiful factors, right? So previous week we talked about faith, mindfulness, shame, and fear of wrongdoing, right? Fear of wrongdoing. So today we will cover non-greed, alobha, non-hatred, adosa, neutrality of the mind, tatra machatata. So if we have a time, we will go to the rest, the tranquility of the mental body, the tranquility of the consciousness, and lightness of the body and lightness of the mind, and malleability of the mental body, and malleability of consciousness. Then wittiness of the mental body and wittiness of the consciousness, and proficiency of mental body and proficiency of consciousness. Then rectitude of the mental body and rectitude of consciousness. So altogether, we have a 90 universal beautiful factors, right? So we finished 4 mental factors. So now we'll go to non-greed, alobha. I think today lesson is very important to understand. So I think as a Buddhist, we must understand all these, especially today 3. Non-greed, alobha. Non-greed is the opposite of greed. A very easy one. So always, is always negative. Alobha, non-greed, adosa, non-hatred, amoha, non-ignorance, right? So these are non-delusion. So is always negative. So here, non-greed is the opposite of greed. So if you understand lobha, you understand alobha. Because they are opposite, right? They are opposite. It is non-attachment to the objects. Here, normally we always use the word the object, right? The object. Actually, in Pali is aramana. Aramana is something our mind enjoy. Normally, our mind enjoy to see the people, right? Enjoy to see the things. So the objects in Pali is aramana, something that our mind enjoy, right? So here, non-greed is a non-attachment to the object. Because we have a lot of attachments, a lot of clinging, right? These are lobha. But of course, we have a different degrees of lobha. So I have explained earlier, right? So the opposite of lobha is alobha. So here, alobha means non-attachment to the objects. It is just like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. So if we put a drop of water on the lotus leaf, it goes down easily, right? It goes down right away. Just like that, if you have the quality of alobha, the quality of non-greed, you do not have attachment to the object. Even though you see the object, it go down easily. It let go, it renounce, right? Especially let go. Even though you hear unpleasant sounds, right? Just like a drop of water on the lotus leaf, right away, right? Go down right away. So this is the quality of non-greed, right? It's very beautiful example. It's mentioned in commentaries. So likewise, non-greed doesn't cling to anything that comes through six senses. Normally we always talk about six senses, right? Six senses. So we have very often explained, many times we are explaining, right? Things we see, things we hear, right? So regarding with these objects that come from our six senses, we do not have attachment. Let go and go down easily, just like a drop of water on the lotus leaf. So therefore, we use lotus logo, right? It is embodiment of non-greed. It is embodiment of a very beautiful quality of Buddhist, right? So you may compare Buddhism with other religions. So other religions, they do not tell not to let go, right? They will tell you to embrace, to take it, to grasp it, to cling it, right? And the Buddha clearly said that even the Dhamma, we don't have to cling to. In one of the sutta, in sutta number 21 or 22, I think, Majjhima Nikaya, and the Buddha said that the Buddha compared the Dhamma with the raft, right? Something we cross over the river. So we use the raft to cross over the river. Normally people, they think that this raft is very helpful for me. Because of this, I can cross over the river. And they bring the raft along the way. Very heavy one, right? It's a clinging. The raft is to cross over the river. Just like that, the Buddha said that even the Dhamma, even the teachings of the Buddha, we don't have to cling to. We don't have to grasp it. The Dhamma is just to cross over the samsara, right? Cross over the suffering. Not to cling to that. So therefore, you may find that the Buddhists and the believer of theistic religions, too much different. The Buddhists, even though they are criticized, they do not have much defining, right? Because the Buddha said that even the Dhamma we don't have to cling to, right? The Dhamma is to practice and to cross over the river or the samsara. So like that, actually the lotus is a compare, right? Used as a logo in Buddhism. The reason is, not this one. The lotus grows from the muddy water, right? Which came out from the water is very clean, just like that. So even though we are staying among the people, we must act like a lotus flower. Must come out from the muddy water, must stay clean, right? That's very important. Even though you are staying in the house of life, so if you do not have lobha dosa moha, less lobha dosa moha, just like a lotus flower, right? But here the simile is different. A drop of water on the lotus leaf. So that go down easily and right away. Just like that. So the non-greed doesn't cling to anything that comes from six senses. Come and go, right? Let them come, go, let them come and go. Do not grasp it, right? Do not grasp it. So this is the quality of non-greed, one of the quality of non-greed. Normally it is not only the absence of lobha, but also it is the presence of positive mental qualities. such as generosity, letting go, renunciation, right? So if you have generosity, that means you have the quality of non-greed, right? If you have a greed, you cannot practice generosity. So this is a positive quality of non-greed. The letting go. Actually in the West, they use letting go very often. I think this is very, very profound word. I think in their mind, for the native speaker, they think that aloba and letting go is the same. Let go, right? Normally we cannot let go the person, or we cannot let go a thing in our mind. So that is the characteristics of loba. We cling to that, right? We cling to that. But here, letting go. We do not cling to a person, or we do not cling to a thing. We let go. Let them come and let them go, right? And renunciation. Actually, in one of the sutta, a Brahmin said that a dividing line between the householder, a monk, is a renunciation. So as a monk, we have to renounce everything, right? We have to renounce everything. If we cannot renounce people or things, it is not a good Buddhist. How to say? It's not a good monk. It's not a good monk. But of course, as a lay devotees, as a householder, you have a lot of things, right? It's very difficult to renounce. So as a monk, we have to renounce everything. So as you know, the Buddha to be Bodhisattva, Prince Siddhartha, he renounced the palace and he renounced the family, right? He renounced all his belongings to pursue happiness, right? So actually, letting go, renunciation, so these are the quality of non-greed, the positive quality of non-greed, right? So non-greed is mentioned as a renunciation in the Noble Eightfold Path. It is one of the three right intentions, Samma Sankappa. So as you know, in the Noble Eightfold Path, the first one is right view, right? Samadhi. Only we have a right view, we will have a right intention. So we have a three type of intention. So the first one is renunciation. We have to renounce, we have to let go, right? We have to let go to some degree, right? Even you cannot renounce everything. You have to let go your time. You have to let go your ego. Many things, right? We have to let go. Sometimes we are stingy of our time, our body, our liver, right? So we are stingy, but we have to renounce everything as much as we can, right? So renunciation is one of the three right intentions. So the rest of the two are nun ewe, nun harming. So that is no hatred. So that we are going to learn next one. Nun hatred, right? Nun hatred. Renunciation. Pali Canon always use that. So when somebody ordained as a monk or nuns, use renunciation, nikkama. The word nikkama, right? Renounce. Lady Sayadaw is very famous in Myanmar and he wrote so many books. So all the books are based on the suttas, right? So he talked about renunciation. What is renunciation? In his The Noble Eightfold Path is factors explained. This is a translation of Burmese, and he explained about renunciation. So based on the suttas, explanation of the suttas. Number one, the mental state where there is absence of greed. This is we have explained that, right? Here, renunciation means the absence of greed. So if you have a greed, you cannot renounce, right? The absence of greed. And the ability, therefore, to renounce 5 sense pleasures. So that is pleasant sights, pleasant sounds, smells, tastes, and touch. So this is a renunciation. Let's look at sometimes we cannot renounce pleasant sight, right? Sometimes we cannot renounce to watch a movie, or we cannot renounce to play games, right? We cannot renounce to listen the songs like this, right? So if you cannot renounce 5 sense pleasures, that is greed, right? If you can renounce, that will be renunciation. So here, as I said, renunciation may be different levels, right? Different levels. But killing, regarding with the killing, right? Killing is not good as a Buddhist, right? Because of greed, sometimes we will kill, right? And taking what is not given, stealing. You want to get it, you want to take it. Because of greed, right? Because of greed. Taking the belonging of other people is not good, right? Not good. But we're trying to renounce our desire to steal, right? The property of other people. That is renunciation, right? So if you cannot renounce that desire, then you will get into trouble, right? And Kamesu Mechachara, sexual misconduct, right? Sexual misconduct. So you have an affair with other people. If you get married or right, then you renounce that desire, right, to commit sexual misconduct. That is renunciation. So as a Buddhist, at least we must have a 5 precept renunciation, right? 5 type of renunciation. We have to renounce desire to kill. You have to renounce desire to steal, right? You have to renounce desire to commit sexual misconduct. And you have to renounce desire to tell lie, right? To tell lie. Desire to drink alcohol, right? Intoxicants. So these are renunciation as a lay devotees. Of course, as a monk, we have a lot of things to renounce, right? A lot of things to renounce. So many monks and nuns, they think that a life of monk is not free, no freedom. We have a lot of restrictions, lot of rules and regulations. Actually, Pali Canon, the Sutta always mentioned that the life of a man is just like a free space, very free, a lot of freedom, right? So our mind is liberated from, the unwholesome mental state. So therefore, our mind is very free. No bonding, right? No bondage or no factors in our life, right? A lot of freedom in the life. But so if we cannot renounce 5 sense pleasures, of course it's not. It's suffocating. It's suffocating. So as a monk, we have to renounce 5 sense pleasures, right? As a lay devotee also, you have to renounce to some extent, right? To some extent. So that is called renunciation. Another one is it is ability to renounce attachment to the 5 aggregates. So actually this is a technical term in Pali Canon. We use 5 aggregate, right? Khanda. Sometimes we use mind and body, nama rupa. Normally in Pali Canon we always use 5 aggregate. The form, right? We have to renounce desire to have attachment to the form, right? Normally we have attachment to the form. The form of our body, the form of other people, right? So we have to renounce. So that is renunciation. And we have to renounce our feeling, our perception, our mental formation and consciousness. So this is in other words, we can say mind and body, right? So we have to renounce desire or attachment to the mind and body. So that is renunciation. So actually if we explain renunciation, that means to renounce 5 sensual pleasures, right? 5 types of sensual pleasures. So that is renunciation. But we have a different level, right? Different level. So therefore, Ajahn said that he used the word letting go. Letting go is actually translated by somebody. And he said that if you let go a little, you will have a little happiness. Yes, of course. We cannot deny that we are suffering because of craving and attachment, right? If you have craving to your children too much, you have sufferings. Mental suffering, right? Mental suffering. But of course, you may have a bodily suffering when conditions are good. When conditions are not good. So as far as you have attachment, you will suffer. If you have a little bit of attachment, you will have a little bit of suffering. If you let go a little bit of attachment, you will have a little bit of happiness. Your mind is just like a drop of water on a lotus leaf, free, right? So therefore, in Pali Canon, we always use liberation of the mind, right? Vimoti, liberation of the mind. So actually, of course, we have a different level of non-greed. So if you let go a little, you will have a little happiness. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of happiness. So this is quite sure that for those whose mind is liberated from negative mental state, a lot of freedom. Whether you are a lay devotee or whether you are a monk. So as a monk, if you have a lot of negative mental state, a lot of suffering, right? Your mind is not liberated from negative mental state. It doesn't depend on whether you are a lay devotee or a monk. It depends on your mental attitude, right? Attitude. If you let go completely, you will be completely happy. That's talking about Nibbana. So actually, Nibbana, completely let go everything, right? Let go everything doesn't mean that the Buddha do not have loving kindness and compassion. As you know, the Buddha left people. The Buddha left his disciples, right? Therefore, he showed the way to free from suffering. To free from suffering. So therefore, letting go is nothing but non-greed, right? Non-greed. So we have to practice just like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. It drop, it go down easily, right? So when we have something to suffer in our mind, let go then, right? Let go. Do not keep it in your mind too much, right? So this is Ajahn said, it's very beautiful word. He said that. So in Samanyaphala Sutta, second Sutta of Digha Nikaya, and the Buddha said that. The Buddha described how we should live. The Buddha is talking to the monks. It depicts the characteristics of non-greed. And the Buddha said, Sappata bharo sakunoviya. Just as a bird with the wings, flying hither and thither. burdened by nothing but its wings. So he is satisfied with roads, food, medicine, and lodgings, right? Actually, we have four requisites, right? So just like a bird, right? Just like a bird, it has only wings. So there's no burden, right? He fly here and there freely. Just like that, as a monk, we have to be free and easy. We have to be content with whatever we have, right? So as a monk, we don't need so many things, right? We have to be content. So just like that, you can also practice in your life as well, right? As a Singaporean, you have a lot of things, many things, right? So actually things are, how to say, much more than you acquire, right? You need. So things are much more than you need, but stay not satisfied yet, right? So actually this is the way we should live, contentment. The highest richness is a happiness. Highest contentment is highest, not happiness, is the richness. So therefore, contentment is very important, right? So contentment is one of the quality of non-greed, right? So if you are not satisfied, if you do not have a contentment, then it will be a characteristic of lobha, right? Characteristics of lobha. So according to Abhidhamma, of course Abhidhamma explains the same as the suttas, but sometimes it further explanation. It gives further explanation, right? This is a characteristic of Abhidhamma. So Abhidhamma explains that the renunciation as the thought connected with the letting go. So that is the element of renunciation. So it further states an interesting definition of renunciation. So all the good deeds, kusala dhamma, all the wholesome deeds are the element of renunciation. Here, Abhidhamma describes renunciation as all the wholesome deed. So that means if you are doing dana, so you are renouncing, right? So if you are keeping precept, you are renouncing. If you are meditating, you are renouncing. If you are doing dana, you are renouncing your stinginess, right? Attachment to your belongings. So if you are keeping precept, you sacrificing your desire to eat or desire to do unwholesome deed, right? If you are meditating, you renounce desire to live leisurely, right? That you control your mind not to run away, right? So the dana sila bhavana can be called renunciations. So this is according to Abhidhamma. It's a very beautiful one. So if you are doing good deed, that means you are renouncing. That's renunciation, right? Any question up to here? Actually, the characteristics of non-greed is just like a drop of water on the leaf. Wherever you see, wherever you hear, do not have attachment or clinging, right? But of course, as a ordinary people, we have a lot of clinging, right? But we have to reduce up to minimum level, right? So that is non-greed. Another one is non-hatred, dosa, non-hatred. It is the opposite of dosa, right? The opposite of dosa. It keeps a person away from anger, resentment, cruelty, ill will, annoyances toward the objects that come from six senses. So actually, when we see something, we trying to grasp it. That is the characteristics of non-greed, greed, right? So when we see something, we trying to reject with anger, right? That characteristics of dosa. Here, even though you see unpleasant things, unpleasant passing, you are not rejecting. Letting come or let it come, right? They will go naturally, right? We are not rejecting with anger. So that is the characteristics of non-hatred. So here, if we have non-hatred in our mind, we keep away all anger, resentment, annoyances toward the object that come from six senses. When we hear something, if we like it, we trying to grasp it, right? We are not just like a drop of water on the leaf. So when we do not like a person or a thing, right? Trying to reject with anger. You don't like it. With the resentment, right? That is characteristics of dosa. Here, non-hatred, right? It also comprises the positive virtues such as goodwill, gentleness, patience, friendliness, loving kindness, compassion, altruistic joy, right? So these are characteristics of non-hatred. So if you have non-hatred, you have a goodwill toward the person, toward the people, you have a gentleness to treat the people, you have patience, you are friendly, you are full of loving kindness, compassion, altruistic joy. So these are the opposite of the other quality of non-hatred. But compassion and altruistic joy will be explained in a different category, right? As a karuna and mudita. But actually they are under non-hatred, right? Under no-hatred. So one of the positive virtue of Adota is metta, loving kindness. As you know, loving kindness is very famous positive mental quality, right? So actually we will learn loving kindness under the different topic, 4 divine dwellings. So actually we will learn 4 divine dwellings maybe next 2 or 3 weeks. So 4 divine dwellings are very important. So as a Buddhist, we must try to have those 4 divine dwellings in our heart. So then only our life will be very meaningful as well as enjoyable. Otherwise, miserable, right? Miserable. So actually, loving kindness is under non-hatred. So therefore, loving kindness or metta is not stated as a separate mental factors in the Cetasika. It is under non-hatred, right? Non-hatred. So I will explain it later. So under 4 divine dwellings. So non-hatred is mentioned as a non-ill, abhyapada, and non-harming, avihangsa. So they are among the 3 right intentions, right? So as you know, based on right view, we have 3 types of right intention. So one is renunciation, right? We try to renounce 5 sins pleasure, right? So we here another 2 are non-ill and non-hatred. Non-ill from right intention, the positive mental state that dispels aversion toward the object. Non-ill. So actually, when we see something or somebody, then we have aversion, we have a dislike toward that person or that thing, right? That is hatred. That is dosa. then we don't have it, right? Even though we see someone we do not like, then we don't have hatred here. We don't have anger here. That is the quality of non-hatred, right? Sometimes even toward those people, you treat them friendly, with the patience, right? With the good way. That is the quality of non-hatred. So that is called non-ill will in the Noble Eightfold Path, right? Non-ill will. If the object is a sentient being, so non-ill will is called loving kindness. If the object is the things, it is called non-hatred, right? Non-hatred. Actually, non-hatred covers everything. If you see somebody, if you see something, then you don't have anger or resentment in your mind. So that is non-hatred. If you have non-hatred in a person, that will be loving kindness, right? Loving kindness only cover the living beings, right? Living beings. Non-harming, so we will use compassion, right? Compassion for the sentient beings. If we practice non-harming toward a person, that will be sentient beings. And non-hatred for the things. If you are treating the environment with the non-harming, that will be not a sentient being, right? Not a sentient being. That will be non-hatred. Non-hatred. So that is the meaning of non-hatred. Actually, non-hatred, we have to understand it is the opposite of hatred, right? If you do not have hatred, even toward someone or something you do not like it, then that is a non-hatred. Very, very beautiful quality, right? So therefore, it is called sobana, beautiful, beautiful. So, if we're talking about in positive way, the patience, right? Patience. You practice patience, and you practice friendliness and loving kindness, compassion. So all these are under non-hatred, right? Because you don't have a hatred in your mind, so therefore the mind is very beautiful. So in one of the sutta, the Buddha said that non-ill will, the escape from ill will is called liberation of the mind by loving kindness, right? Liberation of the mind, loving kindness. So if you have a loving kindness, there is no place for ill will. So your mind is liberated from ill will, right? Loving kindness. We have to practice loving kindness. Then non-harming, so escape from the thought of harming is called the liberation of the mind by compassion. So especially if we have desire to harm other living beings, right? So that is a hatred. That is dosa, right? That is dosa. So if your mind is liberated from the thought of harming, so that means you have a compassion, right? Compassion. So we will learn loving kindness and compassion in different contexts, right? Maybe another 2 weeks later. So I think very beautiful mental quality, loving kindness and compassion, right? Any question? Okay. A slight dislike in your mind is called hatred. No, in your heart, you still have ill will in your heart. Actually, in the same sutta, the Buddha said that one day I'm practicing loving kindness, but still I have a little bit of ill will in my heart. And the Buddha said that, no way. If you are practicing loving kindness, there is no ill will. Of course, Actually, we shouldn't regret or we shouldn't feel uncomfortable that, of course, in our mind, we have an ill, big or small, right? Big or small. We have to try to reduce, right, the amount of ill. So if you don't like the person, that is a type of ill, right? So here, I think when you learn the next mental factor, it will be clear how you should practice, right? How you should practice. I will explain in next mental factor. Today I'm very lucky that all your questions will be answered in next mental factor, right? Next mental factor. So remember that if you have even slight degree of dislike toward a person or a thing, right? Even toward the food, right? Sometimes there's a dislike in your mind. The food is not good, right? There's hatred, dosa, right? Dosa. Ready? There's a reparted. Actually, next mental factor is considered as a feeling in certain degree. It's not, of course, it's not easy. It's not easy. Then I will show why it's not easy with the picture. So if you see the picture, you will know that. So actually, balancing our mind is not really easy, right? Not easy, but we have to do it. But taking a bicycle, it's not easy. But when you practice again and again, it became easy, right? How to remove it? Actually, I have taught. We have 5 methods to remove resentment, right? You forgot. Try to listen again, right? So, okay. Layman example. Actually, the one I explain right now, non-greed and non-hatred, of course, it is a little bit weird. Actually, when you learn compassion, loving kindness, altruistic one, you will understand, right? Okay, question? Yeah. Yeah. You mean the neutrality mean upekha, right? Okay. Good question. Actually, here, liberation of the mind, we have 2 types of liberation. Liberation of the mind and liberation by wisdom. Actually, loving kindness and compassion liberated from the mind, not by wisdom. So as you know, the real liberation from defilements, only wisdom. Actually, sometimes I can even use that equanimity that we are going to learn is a part of wisdom. So therefore, one of the scholars said that the closest term to Nibbana is equanimity. The closest term, if we use another term about Nibbana, is equanimity. So actually here, loving kindness and compassion. So these are liberation of the mind. It will liberate from negative emotion from your mind for a while. Not totally liberation. So in Pali Canon, we have two types of liberation. Liberation of the mind. Normally it is called samatha. Right? Samatha. Liberation by wisdom through Vipassana. Right? Actually, equanimity is we can say that, but the Buddha even used equanimity as the liberation of the mind, right? But it's very close to Nibbana, right? So here, loving kindness and compassion, altruistic joy, and equanimity, I will explain in group so that it became clear, right? Because for now, we will leave it. So we will explain it in detail, comparing these four, right? So maintain, of course, equanimity or neutrality of the mind is the highest, right? We have to control, even we have to control compassion and loving kindness with the equanimity. Neutrality of the mind. Otherwise, it will lead to wrong directions, right? Okay, so now we finish non-greed and non-hatred, right? Before we go to equanimity, I want to explain a little bit about one sutta. It's a very beautiful one, especially for lay devotees. It's encouraging for you. We have 4 types of retreat. Actually here, retreat and renunciation are the same. So actually different Pali word, so therefore Bhikkhu Bodhi use different term. A very beautiful word, retreat. 4 types of retreat. Normally we go to retreat for meditation, right? A retreat, staying quietly in a quiet environment, right? So we have 4 types of retreat. Number 1, one who has gone on retreat by body. You go to meditation retreat, not by mind. Your mind is thinking about your family, thinking about food, and thinking about, sensual pleasures, right? So you are on retreat by body, not by the mind. And number 2, who has gone on retreat by body, one who has not gone on retreat by body, you are not in the retreat, but by mind, right? You are gone on retreat by mind. Even though you are staying at home, you do not have negative mental state, right? So as even lay devotees, if you do not have negative mental state, just like a retreat. Even though you are staying in noisy place, even though you are staying with the family, even though you are staying among the people, just like a retreat, right? Then number 3, you have gone to on retreat either by body, not by mind, right? Either body or by mind. So number 4, you have gone on retreat both by body and by mind. And number 3, either you are not. So the reason you are staying among the people, noisy place, right? Noisy place, but you are full of defilement in your mind, right? But here number 4, you are on retreat, actual retreat, then you do not have a negative mental state, right? Negative mental state. So these are 4 types of retreat. Even though as a man who is living in the forest, if he is negative mental state in his mind, it's not on retreat by mind, right? But bodily, he is on retreat. So as a lay devotee, even though you are living the family life among the people, you have less defilements than you are on retreat by mind, right? So if you know this one definition, you will understand. And the Buddha said, and how bhikkhu has a passing gone on retreat by body, not by gone on retreat by mind. And the Buddha said, and he thinks sensual thought, kama vitaka, and he thinks the thought of ewe, vyapara vitaka, and he thinks the thought of harming. Even though you are on retreat bodily, so you are thinking about sensual pleasures, you are thinking about killing other people, you are thinking about harming other people, right? You have not gone to retreat by mind, right? So actually it's quite clear that even though you are staying at the family life, if you have less sensual pleasures, the thought of ill, the thought of harming, you are on retreat, right? You are on retreat. So therefore, the Buddha always talk about using these terms, right? Kama vitaka, vyapara vitaka, and vinsa vitaka. So here, sensual thought is nothing but lobha, right? If you do not have sensual thought, non-hatred, non-greed. The thought of ill will and the thought of harming, that is a hatred, dosa, right? If you don't have, no hatred, right? Okay.
Perhaps when the conditions arises, that the thoughts comes. Even when you are in retreat, the sankhara will come in such a way that you have thoughts. All these thoughts will just arise.
Yeah.
So is it considered going on a retreat
By body,
by body
not
and
mind.
not mind?
Of course, yes.
Even though the conditions just ripen and all these thoughts arises. Because you are
Or condition.
because you are actually practicing, then all these conditions arises.
Actually, you have to talk about based on these thoughts. Suppose you are on retreat by body, right? In quiet place, attending retreat, but you have a sensual thought, the thought of evil, the thought of harming. So that means by mind, you are not renouncing. By body, you are renouncing, right? So actually, the point I want to point out is here is, even though you are lay devotee, right? If you practice, you can attain Nibbana. You can become Sotapanna, right? But of course, it's not the life of lay devotee is not, I want to say, the conditions are not good as a monks or nuns, right? But anyway, we have to decide whether we have these the wrong view, wrong intention, right? Wrong intention. Based on that, we have to decide, right? Okay, so next one, neutrality of the mind. In Pali, tatra machatata. Actually, you don't need to. We have only a few, less than 10 people, so we are not requesting for the exam center because I think that most of you don't want to sit the exam, right? So therefore, you don't need to read or you don't need to memorize all these one. Neutrality of the mind, tatra machatata. Actually, very difficult. Neutrality of the mind. So if you are taking exam, I think you must have to memorize tatra machatata. Otherwise, if you are using different translation, the examiner, they will not understand. So you have to understand or you have to memorize tatra machatata, right? The neutrality of the mind. Tatra machatata literally means middleness there. You understand? No, understand. Middleness there. So I will explain. So what is middleness? Matcha is at the middle. The middle. Majjhima Patipada, right? The middle. So matcha tata, staying at the middle. Balancing the mind there. So what is there? So here, tatra means between the good and the bad. The good objects and the bad objects. Between these two, you stay in the middle. Right? Stay in the middle. Between pleasant and unpleasant objects. Agreeable and disagreeable objects. Here, object means passing or thing, anything, right? So here, tatra means two things, good and bad, right? Good and bad. So majjhata means staying at the middle of those two. I think better explain with the pictures. The art of balancing, right? You stay at the middle on the rope. So you are trying to balance your mind. Trying to balance your body on the rope. If you fall on one side, you will die. Left side or right side, either side, you will die. Right? So here, majjhata means the rope. Rope, right? The rope. Left side and right side, it is called tatra. There, right? Between these two sides, you balance your mind. That is called neutrality of the mind. Right? Neutrality of the mind. So, between good and bad, sometimes we experience good things. Sometimes we experience bad things. Right? But we're trying to balance between these two. If we experience good things, lobha or greed may come in. If we experience bad things, dosa, hatred will come in naturally. Right? If we are not mindful. So between these two, we're trying to reduce our feeling. We're trying to reduce our feeling. We're trying to balance, stay in the middle, not falling down to two sides, right? So actually, our nature is, if we experience good things, and we have a lot of greed, right? A lot of clinging, a lot of attachment. And based on that, we suffer. Then if we experience things we do not like, or passing we do not like, then we try to reject, we don't like, right? Dosa, hatred coming. So our mind is not balanced. So we are falling down one side, left side and right side. Here, tatra misatata is nothing but staying at the middle, or the good and bad, right? Between good and bad. So really trying to balance our mind with the mindfulness. With the mindfulness. So that is called tatra misatata, neutrality of the mind. The Buddha said in Dhamma, as a solid rock is unshaken by the wind, even so the wise are unshaken by blame or praise. Here, blame is not good, right? The praise is good. We have to balance our mind, right? Sometimes we are blamed, we feel angry, right? Right away. So angry arises because of ignorance, because of moha. We do not understand. We are not mindful, right? So even though we are blamed, so we have to be mindful. We have to control our mind. We don't need to control our anger. If we are mindful, no anger at all, right? No anger at all. If the blame is rational and reasonable, you have to accept it. If unreasonable, irrational, you have to respond it without anger, but mindfully, right? Mindfully. So that is neutrality of the mind, right? Even though you're blame, you're not angry. You're mindful, you have neutrality of the mind. You balance your mind, not to fall on to dosa, right? Then if you are praised, you feel elated, right? You like it. Oh, sometimes even though people are pretending that you are very good, right? As a what? Then you feel elated. And they will look at you as a how to say, someone who like a naive, right? As a naive. Even though we have a praise, and the Buddha said that, but if things are right, of course we have to accept it mindfully. No elation, right? No elation. No lobha. No lobha. Have to be mindful, right? But the praises are not right. But you have, how to say? Not right, not rational, reasonable. Of course you have to tell them that. I'm not like that. Then that you said, right? So things is as a normal people, you may not understand that. Even we have a praise, even with a praise, we don't have to be happy. It's not like that. Mindfully, you can acknowledge, right? Mindfully. But at the higher level, at the jhana, especially in jhana, so you ignore everything, even blame or praises or good or bad feeling, right? So here, neutrality of the mind means if we fall down, either blame or praise. Because of blame, anger, we fall down to anger, right? Because of praise, come down to greed, lobha. So we're trying to protest ourselves, not to fall down to two sides, right? Staying at the middle. In other words, we can even say that it is a maturity, right? We are mature. We can stand either somebody is blaming or somebody is praising. Actually, we trying to balance our mind, right? But if the blame is reasonable, have to accept it, right? If reasonable, we have to respond it, right? We have to respond without anger, right? Without anger. Okay.
What's the difference? Is there a difference between neutrality of the mind and practice?
Actually, even practicing not to fall on two sides, it says it's middle way. Actually, the middle way is just the name, just the name. So the Buddha said that by following indulgent sensual pleasures, there's another side, right? Also, trying to self-mortification, trying to banning your body. So in this way, you will kill all defilements. So just like the self-mortification, also another end. Not going these two end, two sides. The Eightfold Noble Path. The Eightfold Noble Path, right? So there is a misunderstanding that if we are meditating hard, right? For many hours, some people say that is a self-mortification. It's not like that. Self-mortification is burning our body, thinking that so our defilement will be burned down. Actually here, the middle is not following two sides, right? Not at the, it is not like how to say that the middle, how to say that. How can I explain this one? The middle path is nothing but the Eightfold Noble Path. So if you look at the Eightfold Noble Path, you will understand that it is the practice, right? The practice. Of course, you make a lot of effort. Making a lot of effort to practice the Four Noble Truths, that the Noble Eightfold Path, is not self-modification, right? So, not going to side, trying to follow the Noble Eightfold Path. So the Buddha gave a beautiful name. Because by that time, two ideas arises at the time of the Buddha, right? Enjoying the life. The life is very short. When we die, nothing. That's it. Trying to enjoy sensual pleasures. That is one end, right? One side. Another side is there are some ascetics who trying to who trying to torture their body, and they think that by torturing their body, by burning fire with their body, and they think that the defilement and negative mental state may not come in, right? So when they have negative mental state and they burn their body with the fire, they dive into the water, very cold water. In the cold season, right? So by torturing their body, they think that they will have a liberation from negative mental state. The Buddha also rejected this idea.
So it's the same as neutrality of the mind, like this middle path?
Of course, we can say that it is a part of middle path, because even here, right? So we have to try not to fall down to both extremes. Both extremes are good and bad here. Good and bad. It's not like we are practicing the Noble Eightfold Path or middle path, but different. Two sides are different, right? So what the Buddha intended two sides in the first Dhamma is a self-modification and indulgence in sensual pleasure, right? Here it's not like that. Between good and bad, different category.
Or you can say this is more the mind, and the other one is more physical.
Or the mind as well. Different category. It's not actually practicing the neutrality of the mind itself is how to say the practicing the middle path. But here, two sides is different. Two sides here mean good and bad, right? Good and bad. But over there, not good and bad. Actually, two things is not good, right? So anyway, two different category, right? We cannot, but very similar. Not to fall down to two sides, we have to balance our mind, right? Balance our mind. So here, the blame is a negative side. Because of blame, anger may arise. Not to fall down from anger, we have to balance our mind. That is neutrality of the mind. Staying at the middle, right? Staying at the middle. Normally, I give example of a referee, right? Referee at the football match have to stay at the middle. If fall down to one football team, the game is destroyed, right? Neutrality of the mind is just like a referee. If referee have to fair and have to stay at the middle, right? So maybe the other team may be his homeland, but the other team he may not like it, but must be fair, right? Even though he like the other team, no bias at all, right? Here also, sometimes we may experience good things, right? Good person and bad person, agreeable person and disagreeable person. So when you are dealing with them in a society, you have to treat them equally, right? You have to give them equal right, right? Equal right. So if you are biased, so that means no neutrality of the mind, right? No neutrality of the mind. Suppose you are sharing the food to the poor people, right? Poor people. 2 people, suppose 2 people. And you like the other one. You don't like another one, right? Then you give more food to the person you like. Less food to the one you do not like, right? That's bias. Because of greed, right? And because of hatred, you give less food. So here, neutrality of the mind. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you share equally, right? So you're trying to balance your mind, not to bias, right? Not to bias.
Just now I mentioned that let's say I don't like this person, but I treat this person here. I don't like this person. Okay, there's A and B. I don't like A. I like B. But it comes to partial. This is called partial. I treat both equally, but there's A that I don't like. Like you say, there's still there. But if I treat A and B the same, that's neutrality.
Or you are treating A and B the same. But if you are treating equally, by that time you have neutrality of the mind. But if you have ill will in your heart, that means anyway is a hatred.
There's certain phrases in life that practice. Let's say I don't like this person. I know that not liking a person is wrong. So you reflect, and then I reflect. I know that not like there's no reason not, because now we embrace Buddhism. We know that not liking this person, there's no reason to not like a person. So you know that you don't like this person, but you like me, but you still treat them both.
Treat them equally.
Yes. So it's that because ill will in us we have to overcome. So you know you don't like this, but you still have to treat this person equally. So does it consider ill will?
So I think your question is very, I think it's good. But as you know, we have a lot of mind process even within 1 minute, right? Even within 1 minute. If you have a way in your mind successively, you don't have neutrality of the mind. Quite sure. No. No, what I mean is, even within 1 minute, even within 1 second, a lot of mind movement, right? Anger, loving kindness, compassion, and good way, anger, like this, right? So if you are sharing the food to A and B, if you have anger in your mind, no, you cannot share. You're biased anyway. But the moment you're mindful that you have a ill will in your mind, so you're mindful, then you treat them equally. By that time, you balance your mind, right? At the point. Actually, the mind is very quick, right? So therefore, then you can control your mind very good. You're mindful. You're mindful that ill will is not good. You're mindful by that time. Then you balance your mind. Balance your mind means neutrality of the mind. You're trying to reduce your ill will. Right? If, therefore, the Buddha in the Sutta, the Buddha said that you have compassion in your mind, loving kindness in your mind, but still have a little bit of ill will. If you say like this, the Buddha said, no way. So if you have ill will in your mind, no loving kindness, no compassion, right? So they are the opposite. Actually, the way she said is quite right. She knows that she is mindful that ill is not good. By that time, mindfulness and neutrality of the mind is there. Because of that, So she can share equally. No bias, right? If we have here, and if we have airway, or if we have a attachment, or then we will be biased, right? Bias. So the mind is very quick. Even within 1 second, a lot of mind movement, it can be changed, right? So therefore, the Buddha said, mindfulness, right? We have to be mindful. Okay.
No good. So I turned to the other student and answered the student's question. So I answered the question to this student. Then after that, I turned back to her. Then I got no more anger, you know.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Then after that, from that day onwards, I don't get irritated with her anymore. So I wonder what is the problem of that?
Of course, the object we see, the person, because you try to answer the question to the person you like, right? So therefore, compassion and loving kindness arises in your mind. If there is compassion, loving kindness in your mind, no ill will cannot arise. So therefore, when you come back to the person you do not like, you can answer without ill will, or hatred, or anger. So actually, of course, the to have loving kindness, especially loving kindness. So actually, the agreeable person is the nearest cause. Nearest cause. Suppose if you like one person, it's easily the compassion is very easy to arise. If you see one person you do not like, not really easy, because therefore, the agreeable person is the nearest cause for compassion. So actually, you answer the one you like, right?
Because I don't want to be rude early in the morning, so I turned around and answered this question. But the funny part is, from that day onwards, I don't get angry with this rude person.
Yeah. So you can balance your mind. Actually, this is nothing but neutrality of the mind. Actually, you are good and bad, right? But you trying to balance your mind. Stay at the middle. You answer both parties without anger, right? Without greed, right? So this is the quality or neutrality of the mind. Very beautiful one, right? Very beautiful one. Here, blame and praise are two aspects of the world. So the Buddha said that worldly conditions, Lokapala, the worldly conditions or the worldly natures. So we have the Buddha said that we have 4 types of worldly conditions: blame and praise. Sometimes we will encounter blame, sometimes praise. Between praise and blame, we have to balance our mind. We have to be mindful, right? Not to fall on to anger or greed. Another one is sometimes we will encounter gain, sometimes loss. If you encounter even gain or loss, we have to balance our mind. So if you cannot balance your mind, depression come in, worry come in, right? So therefore, neutrality of the mind, beautiful middle state. Sometimes disrepute, right? Sometimes fame. Actually, these are worldly conditions. So if sometimes you will be famous, sometimes you will be disrepute, right? Disrepute. But between these two, you have to balance our mind. If you cannot balance, then you have a lot of sufferings in the mind, right? In the mind. Sometimes pleasure, sometimes pain, right? This is worldly conditions. So between these two, we have to balance our mind. We have to know that this is the nature of the world, right? The nature of the world. So if we encounter the good, either good or bad, we have to balance our mind. So therefore, equanimity is very difficult to practice. Neutrality of the mind is not easy to practice. So therefore, one scholar from UK, the United Kingdom, and he said that the nearest time to Nibbana is equanimity, right? Equanimity. So equanimity is very difficult. Even the 7 factors of enlightenment, Satapojanga, right? So the last one is equanimity, upekkha. Because in trying to balance the mind, right? In this way, then you have a very stable concentration. If the mind is stable, can see very clearly, right? Can see very clearly. So therefore, it's not easy to practice neutrality of the mind, but we have to practice it, right? To practice it. So therefore, I will say that neutrality of the mind is nothing but emotional quotient. Emotional quotient, right? So you're trying to control your mind. You're trying to control your emotion, right? Emotion. So when you encounter with the blame, feel angry, right? Anger is emotion. You're trying to control your anger, right? Then if you have if somebody is praising you, feel elated. Naturally, it's very naturally. If you are not mindful, right? So you have to control your mind, emotion. You have to control emotion. If you cannot control emotion, you do not know what is good and what is right, right? So actually, I would say that neutrality of the mind can be both Ainchu and Ichu, right? Of course, we have some people are very intelligent. They think themselves that they're very intelligent. They know right away when somebody is talking. Then they respond very quickly. And they proud of themselves that I am intelligent. I know whatever you say. That is called Ainchu, right? Ainchu. But they forget to practice Ichu. They cannot control their emotion, right? Sometimes, even though you know that that person is accusing you, that person is implying that you are stupid like this, right? Talking like this, you know that is Ainchu, right? But you have to control your mind not to respond, right? Right away. You have to be mindful. That is called Ichu. So Ichu is nothing but neutrality of the mind, right? Neutrality of the mind. So we have to combine with the mindfulness and equality of the mind. So that is Ichu, right? So we have to balance Ainchu and Ichu. So therefore, according to scientific research, so if we have a certain amount of Ainchu, then if you have Ichu, you will be successful. Then you have your very high Ainchu, no Ichu, cannot become a leader, cannot successful, right? So therefore, neutrality of the mind is like a Ichu, right? Ichu. So in Mangala Sutta, so the Buddha talk about 38 blessings, right? 38 blessings. Among them, so after talking about Nibbana, the Buddha taught this one. Potasa loka dhammehi chaitan yasana kambati asokan vidajang keman etan mangala mautama loka dhammehi, right? Worldly conditions. He whose mind is not disturbed when affected by worldly conditions. Here, worldly conditions can be both good and bad, right? Even though you experience good things, right? you can balance your mind, you can control your emotion, right? So that is blessing, one of the blessing. Sorrowless, stainless, secure in Nibbana. So that is the higher blessing. If you can control your emotion, if you practice neutrality of the mind, if you can balance between good and bad, it is blessing, right? It is blessing. Of course, it is not really easy. We have to be mindful all the time. We must know that feeling will make you, a lot of problem, right? If you follow your feeling, then a lot of problem. So therefore, in Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha used Vedana Nupassana, right? The contemplation of feeling. So we have to contemplate our feeling. We have to be mindful regarding with our feeling. Whether good or bad, we have to be mindful. That is nothing but mindfulness and neutrality of the mind, right? According to Mangala Sutta, it is one of the blessings. It is unshakable balance of mind that safeguards the person from lobha and dosa, right? As I explained that, our mind, if we experience good things, lobha arises. Bad things, dosa arises. Neutrality of the mind, trying to save us, right? From lobha and dosa, right? Actually, the way Venerable Anuruddha, the one who write Abhidhamma Sangha, is very systematic. After showing alobha and dosa, and he write adosa, right? Sorry, tatra misatata, the neutrality of the mind. In 4 divine dwellings, Brahma Vihara, so it is used as a equanimity, upekha. So later we will learn with the end of the 4 divine dwellings, right? 4 divine dwellings. Any question? Then no question, let's go. The next one is the pair, right? Kaya Pasati and Chitta Pasati. Actually, Pasati here means tranquility. Tranquility. Pasati. In the 7 Bojjhanga, we have a Pasati, right? Pasati. Tranquility. So we have 2 types of tranquility. Tranquility of the mental factor and tranquility of consciousness. So they are calm and peaceful state of mind and mental factors. So if you do not have a peace of mind, that means your mind is not beautiful. I will say that these pairs are criteria that you can measure your mind, whether it is beautiful or ugly. If you are not peaceful, that means your mind is ugly. You have some defilements in your mind. So these are criteria, a ruler to measure our mind, whether we are in a good mood or whether we are in a bad mood. So one of them is the tranquility of the mental factors and tranquility of consciousness. So according to the commentaries, so here kaya, normally kaya means body, right? Body. So according to commentary, it's not actual body. It is mental factor. The body or mental factor. So Chaita Pasati, Chaita means consciousness. Actually, some scholars, they like to interpret Kaya means actual body. Chaita means the mind. Actually, it's very is good to use in this way. So actually, when our body is peaceful, normally the body, when our mind is peaceful, the body also peaceful, right? Actually, the commentary gives the example of it is like a fish kept in the cool water. So the fish, they like cool water, right? So if they are in the cool water, their body and their mind will be tranquil, right? Just like that, if we do not have restlessness in our mind, if we do not have remorse in our mind, we will have tranquility. So if you are not peaceful, bodily and mentally, if you are not tranquil in your body and in your mind, that means you have either restlessness or remorse. So that is not beautiful. Restlessness and remorse are ugly mental state, right? Ugly mental state. So if they are in your mind, you are not peaceful. You are not tranquil, right? So these are the tranquility of the mind because you don't have restlessness and remorse. So this is one of the criteria to decide whether your mind is beautiful or ugly, right? So if you have a restlessness in your mind and remorse in your mind is ugly. If you don't have those two, then you have a peace of mind, right? Then I will give you the same example. The moment she have illness toward a person, no tranquility, right? But she is mindful that illness is not good. Then she treats them equally. By that time, peaceful, tranquil, right? So actually, the mind is very quick. Sometimes, even within 1 second, ugly and beautiful, right? Like this. So even we are meditating, right? Meditating, we have a lot of sensual pleasure. We have a lot of ill will in our mind, but we're mindful that, and we come back to our meditation object, right? Even within 1 second. So here, tranquility of the mind and body, right? The next one, Kaya Lahuta and Cheta Lahuta, is the lightness of the body and mind. So if your mind is light, right? If your mind is light to do good things, sometimes your body and your mind is light to do bad things. It's not it's not this one, right? To do good things, right? To do good things, very important one. Because our body is heavy because of sloth and torpor, right? Sloth and torpor. So when we are meditating, we feel sleepy because of sloth and torpor. Our body is not light. Our mind is not light, right? So lightness of the body, a mind to do good things. It is one of the characteristics, one of the criteria of beautiful mental factor, right? When they are in mind, when sloth and torpor are in mind, so one is light. Sorry, when Kaya Lahuta and Cheta Lahuta are in the mind, one is light and active to do wholesome deed, right? So some people are very lazy to do good things, right? Suppose you are visiting senior houses to help them, right? Some are lazy to go there. But some are very active, right? Active because of lightness, because of this one, right? So these are criteria of beautiful mental factor. So that means if you are doing good things, so you can examine your mind whether you are active or inactive, right? You are attending puja, you're chanting, right? Then your mind is heavy, not light, not active. That means you have sloth and torpor. right? Either sloth in torpor or the tiredness of your body, right? Tiredness of your body. If it is because of sloth in torpor, that means defilement, right? Another one, kaya mudita and chitta mudita. Mudita means malleability of the mind. Mudita and body. Here, softness of the mind. Your mind is soft, malleable. So, your mind is ready to do good things. Your mind is in a good condition to do good things, right? Before you do good things, you must have this quality, malleability. Actually, these are very, very common one, not particular one, right? So if you know the first 7 beautiful mental factors, more than enough, right? But of course, if you want to know whether you have a beautiful mind or beautiful mental factor, you can decide based on these one, right? Your mind is soft to do good things, right? So your mind is not malleable because of wrong view and conceit, right? Because of wrong view and conceit. Talk about conceit or egocentric comparison, right? So if you have egocentric comparison, you cannot do good things. Your mind is tough. Your mind is rough, not soft, right? So this is also one of the quality of the beautiful mind. Do I need to explain in details? No need, huh? Not very important. We'll go because we have learned about wrong view and conceit. So these can make you defilement in your mind. Suppose here wrong view, killing is good, right? Killing is good. That you think that it is your view and your understanding is right. That you're trying to kill people, right? But you are active and light. But it's not, it's not malleable to do good things, right? Because of wrong view. Then conceit or egocentric comparison. So if you are comparing someone or something based on ego, then you cannot do good things, right? So therefore, the wrong view and conceit make you, the roughness, the opposite of malleability. So therefore, so when you have a softness of the body and mind to do good things, so that is beautiful, right? That is beautiful. The next one, kaya kaminyata and chitta kaminyata. Wittiness of the mental body and wittiness of consciousness. It is the efficiency of the mind and mental factor, which condition to bring forth wholesome deed. Kaminyata means when you are doing good things, you must have a good condition in your mind. Good condition in your mind. Suppose when you are keeping precept, then you must have a right attitude. Right attitude. You must know what you are doing. So that is efficiency of the mind. Kaminyata, right? Look at the example. So it is, they are the opposite of remaining hindrances stated above, such as a sensual desire, ill will, and doubt. So when you have a sensual desire, you are not ready to do. Suppose you want to do dana, right? Then when you have attachment to your belongings, it's not how to say, it's not readiness, it's not ready, right? It's not a good condition. So to do dana, so you have to renounce desire, right? Attachment to your belongings. So when you are meditating, then you have to prepare everything before you meditate, right? Either inside or outside. So that is a kammenyada. So it is, they are like a heated gold, which is pliable to make a jewelry. So if you do not heat the gold, you cannot make jewelry. Just like that. So your mind must be ready to do a good condition to do good deed. Right? So when you're doing dana, so you have to clear your miserliness or attachment to your belongings, right? When you are keeping precept, you have to be ready to keep 5 precepts, right? So these are called wittiness of the body and consciousness. Just like a heated coal, right? Okay, I think better finish this one, right? Better finish this one. The next one is Kaya Pagonyata and Cheta Pagonyata. The proficiency of mental body and proficiency of consciousness. So actually, they are expertise on knowing thoroughly in wholesome activities of which one is doing. When you are doing dana, you must know thoroughly what you are doing. When you're keeping precept, you must know it. When you're doing, when you are meditating, you must know thoroughly what is meditation, what I'm doing, right? So that is the efficiency of the body and mind, right? Kaya Pagonyata and Cheta Pagonyata. Because this is the opposite of lack of faith, so which weakens the capacity of the mind and mental body. Suppose if I'm in teaching, so I must have a faith what I'm in teaching. If I do not have a faith or confidence, that means I don't have this one, proficiency of the mind and body, right? So I must be proficient what I'm doing. Just like that, when you're doing good things, either dana or sila or bhavana, you must know them thoroughly, right? So then only you have full confidence to do that. You go retreat without knowing what is meditation, without knowing the goal of meditation. You just go there, right? No confidence. Just follow other people, right? But if you know what you're doing thoroughly, then wherever you do good thing, it will be very meaningful, right? So here, the proficiency of mental body and consciousness is knowing thoroughly what we are doing, right? The good things, only good things, right? Only good things. The last one is the Kayu Jugata and Chetis Jugata. The rectitude of the mental body and rectitude of consciousness. It is nothing but honesty of the mind. Honesty of the mind. So you must be honest to do it, right? If you are doing something to get something, right? It's not honest. We must be honest, right? So that is one of the good criteria. It is opposite of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is nothing but maya or opposite of lobha. Hypocrisy and deception, which are characteristics of greed. So if you have greed, you are not honest, right? You are not honest. So when you're doing good things, you must be honest. Otherwise, you don't have this quality, right? So remember that when you are doing good things, dana, sila, bhavana, either one. So sometimes even though you're doing good things, in between there may be an unwholesome mental state, right? You have to think about it. So to have a wholesome mental state all the time is not really easy. Even you are meditating, right? Sometimes you have an airway. Sometimes you have a attachment in your mind. Not all the time. It's not really easy to maintain a good mental state, but we have to try, right? We have to try it. So here, honesty means opposite of hypocrisy and deception. So these are characteristics of greed. So what are the hypocrisy and deception? Here, Maya means concealing one's own faults to deceive others. To conceal one's own fault to deceive others. Actually, you commit wrongdoing, but to cover it, you're trying to save somebody, right? Not honest. Hypocrisy, right? Satya means pretending oneself to be virtuous, educated, and knowledgeable, and rich, etc. Actually, you are not rich. You pretend that you are very rich people. Rich people. Huh? That you are not knowledgeable, but you pretend that you are knowledgeable, right? That is a Satya. Without having any of them. That's very important one. If you have it, if you are knowledgeable, it's okay. You show your knowledge. Sorry? No, what I mean is we have to be honest, right? Honest. If you are educated, it's okay. So you taught people that as if you are educated people. If you are not, have to be honest, right? Be honest. Actually, this is the nature of people because we have a lobha, right? So we want the praise and acknowledgement from other people, right? That's human nature. So therefore, we are pretending one way or another, right? So therefore, we have to reduce pretension or hypocrisy or deception, step by step, right? So that is a honesty. The last one is honesty, right? So Maya and Satyas are the products of selfish desire to get something from other people. Lack of honesty, right? Lack of honesty. So therefore, English people say that honesty is the best policy. So when you are doing good things, whether you are honest or dishonest, you have to do it. You have to know it, right? Even though, actually, we can give one example. Venerable Rahula, right? And he went to a quiet place, thinking in his mind that if I go there, the Buddha and his teacher will praise him. This is dishonesty, right? Dishonesty. Even such a very tiny dishonesty, the Buddha know it, and the Buddha point out that one, right? Showing the simile of a water cup, right? The Rahulavada Sutta. So therefore, the last criteria of beautiful Mindafata is honesty, right? Must be honest. So these are 6 pairs of the criteria of the beautiful mental factor, right? So I think that these are not very important. Therefore, I'm trying to run quickly, so that next week we can talk about the most important one, right? We have an announcement. Can you wait for a while?
Okay, as usual, announcement time. Like you watch TV, I got advertisement, right? Okay, first announcement, we apologize for the notes for the past 2 lessons. I think Bande is busy, so haven't sent out because some students asked about it. Second announcement is there's a Dhamma talk this coming Monday, 11 September, 7:30 by Bande Chitara. For those who don't know who is Bande Chitara, he's the chief monk of Mangala Vihara. If you really don't know him, come for the talk, right? Then you'll know him. And the title is Criteria of a Buddhist. So if you want to know whether you are a Buddhist or not, come for the talk. And last announcement, I think you all will be very happy. I think government has announced 23rd September is a public holiday because of election for president. So our class will be closed. You want to open? You want to open? Show your hands. How many want class? 23rd September. Huh? Okay, we are open, but make sure you go and vote first, or not they come here to pick you. Okay, go and do your voting first before you attend class. So we're not going to close the class. Right? I will send an email out. Okay, thank you. Yo vada tam pavaro manu Jesu Sakya Muni Bhagava Kata Gicho Paragato Bala Viriya Samangi Tam Sugatam Saranatam Upemi Ragavi Ragama Nijama Sokam Dhamma Sankatama Patikulang Madhurami Bampa Gunam Suvibatang Dhammamimam Saranatamu Yatacha Dinama Apalamahu Chatusu Suci Supurisa Yogesu Atacha Pugala Dhammadasate Sangamimam Saranatamu Pemi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bante.